Welcome to The Explainer. What happens when the very system that's supposed to protect you gets churned into a weapon against you? Well, today we're going to dive into an incredible story of institutional sabotage and explore the powerful new son of justice that Europe has built to fight back. An architecture of institutional sabotage. I mean, just let that phrase sink in for a second. It's pretty chilling, right? It describes a situation where the system isn't just failing. It's been deliberately rewired to attack someone. The goal here wasn't justice. It was to completely wear down a public employee by turning normal rules into a maze of legal traps. And no, this isn't a plot from a movie. This is a real-world timeline of intimidation. It starts kind of subtly with a hidden file in February. A month later, things escalate, a falsified document. And then by April, after the employee actually dares to file a complaint, the threats become terrifyingly real. This is how bureaucratic pressure can spiral into something way, way darker.
So this all leads to a really critical question. When your local or even national authorities seem unwilling to help, or maybe are even part of the problem, where do you turn? How do you fight back against fraud that's not just hurting you, but is literally stealing from all of us?
Well, it turns out there's a powerful new answer. Meet the EPPO, the European Public Prosecutor's Office. You can think of it as a financial crimes super prosecutor for the entire EU. It was created with one single mission: to be totally independent and hunt down the kind of large-scale fraud and corruption that messes with the EU's budget. The real genius of the EPPO is in how it's structured. So to really wrap our heads around its power, we need a better way to picture it. So let's imagine the EPPO isn't just some office building, but that it's a sun, a huge star right at the center of a new system, shining a light on fraud and pulling other agencies into its orbit.
Okay, so let's break down the anatomy of this son of justice. We're going to peel back the layers, one by one, from its fiery core where all the big decisions get made, all the way out to the invisible magnetic shield that protects its work from outside storms.
So right at the heart of our sun is the core. This is the command center. It's led by the European Chief Prosecutor and a college of prosecutors from all the member states. Now, they're not just reacting to cases, no, they are setting the entire strategy. They decide what kind of fraud to hunt down, which investigations get top priority, and who across all Europe is the best fit to lead the charge. This central brain is what gives the whole thing its laser focus.
The next layer out is the radiative zone. And this is where the EPPO's raw power comes from. Its mandate is crystal clear: go after any crime that hurts the EU's wallet. But here's the absolute key: total independence. That means no national government, no politician can call them up and tell them to back off a case. And the bar to get started, not concrete proof, but reasonable suspicion. This lets them start digging early, before key evidence has a chance to disappear.
Now we get to the photosphere, the visible surface of our sun. This is where the rubber meets the road. Cases start with solid evidence: documented complaints, technical reports, expert analysis. And the tools it has are serious. It can issue legally binding investigation orders and freeze assets. Now, what's crucial is that it doesn't have its own police force. Instead, it directs elite national units like Spain's EPPO or their equivalents to do the heavy lifting on the ground. Then it brings those charges right back to that country's own courts.
And this might be the most brilliant part of the whole design: the magnosphere. You know, just like a real star, the EPPO has this protective shield. Think back to those threats we talked about at the beginning. This shield is designed to fight back. It preserves fragile digital evidence, server logs, emails, so they can't be deleted. It puts everyone on high alert if it senses a case is being interfered with. And most importantly, it offers real legal protection to the whistleblowers and witnesses who are brave enough to come forward. It's literally a defense against political storms.
Right, but a sun doesn't just sit there in a vacuum. Its power comes from its gravitational pull. So now we're going to see how the EPPO commands an entire solar system of other agencies, pulling them all into these coordinated orbits to fight fraud together.
So how does the EPPO keep from bumping into other agencies? Well, a key idea is something called deconfliction, especially with OLAF, which was the EU's original anti-fraud office. The way they divide the work is simple, but it's really powerful.
The EPPO handles the criminal side. It has the power to make arrests and send people to jail. OLAF handles the administrative side. It's like a forensic accountant focused on getting the stolen money back. So, one puts criminals behind bars, the other gets the cash back. They work in perfect tandem.
And this table here really shows you how those orbits work in the real world. It's fascinating. Just take that top row. The planet is a national government body. The EPPO asks its moon, the local audit unit, for maps and contracts of all EU-funded projects. But here's the magic. In return, the EPPO gives them something they don't have on their own, a legally binding order to preserve all of that evidence. You see? It's a two-way street. The EPPO asks for information, and in return, it provides the legal firepower to protect it.
Okay, so we've seen the theory, we've seen the structure, but what happens when a real storm hits? Let's go back to that terrifying case from the beginning, the threatening email, the car that vanished. For something like this, the EPPO activates its special protocol for existential threats, something they've nicknamed Protocol Apophis.
You know, this kind of direct threat is what the EPSEO would call a solar storm, a calculated attack meant to derail an investigation completely. And their response isn't to panic. No, they launch a precise, 5-step rapid response plan to counter that intimidation with overwhelming, systematic action.
And just look at how methodical this is. Step 1, bam, freeze the evidence. Before anything can be deleted, lock down those servers. Step 2, frame the facts. This isn't just some random threat. It is officially declared as retaliation directly linked to an EU fraud case. That changes the whole game. Step 3, protect the person. Activate whistleblower protection immediately. Step 4, find the pattern. Connect this threat to other hostile events and decisions. And finally, Step 5, coordinate the response with the police, making sure they see the entire picture. It's just a brilliant, powerful counterpunch.
Okay, so we've seen this impressive structure and this incredible rapid response. But why does this complex EU body actually matter to the average person? You know, what does this mean for you?
Well, for starters, it has real financial muscle. In just 1 year, the EPPO ordered nearly 850 million euros in assets to be frozen. Just let that number sink in. That's money that can't be used by criminals anymore. It's taxpayer money, our money, that was meant for schools and roads, that's now secure instead of being laundered away. And its reach is just incredibly broad. It's not just going after some small-time fraudsters. The data shows it takes on everything from individual corrupt officials to entire companies, all the way up to complex organized criminal groups that run massive scams across borders. No target is too small, and no target is too big.
So really, this is the ultimate takeaway. The EPPO is a backstop. It's a safety net for justice. For all those times when a national system is unwilling, unable, or worst of all, compromised, there is now a higher independent authority that can step in and make sure the rule of law is actually upheld.
So, we'll leave you with this final thought. We now have a son of justice that is powerful enough to shine a light into the darkest corners of financial crime, which really makes you wonder, who and what is still managing to thrive in the shadows?